Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minds and Money London and Commodity TV, which is the TV partner. Unfortunately, only virtual. We would have loved to be in London, but due to Corona, it was not possible. We want to talk for the first time to Satarla Resources. Dr. Sarah Gordon is the CEO, and she's now with us here. Good morning to London. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, because your company is really special. It's not mining, it's not about exploration or production. It is really about services, integrated services, training, consulting. And also I saw a lot about ESG, and I think we should start with that topic, because I have the feeling that ESG is, let's put it that way, maybe it has started in the mining industry, but is not yet fully integrated. And I think you have been at the COP26 climate summit also. So maybe you want to say some words on that, please.
Yeah, certainly. So with regards to this, obviously ESG, or environment, social and governance, also known as sustainability, also known as license to operate. It has many different titles. It's been within mining forever. But the difference now is that especially investors and customers are beginning to pay a lot more attention to it. So they're asking many more questions of us as the mining sector with regards to how we explore for, mine, process and ship our products, but then also as well where we're sourcing our own supplies from in terms of how much diesel do we use, etc. So it encapsulates the entirety of not just the climate aspects that we need to think about when we're mining, but also the broader sustainability aspects. So thinking about the people in the local communities within which we're working, and then also the broader environment as well, such as biodiversity, changes in the volumes of water, etc. as well. So that's really what comes to bear within ESG. And as I mentioned, the reason why this is becoming or increasing in relevance, perhaps, in terms of being able to talk about it to our investors, is that those investors themselves need to be able to show how they are incorporating things like carbon into their own portfolios. And that's, of course, where the likes of COP26 comes in. So just on that briefly, when I had the distinct privilege of attending the negotiation side of COP26, I went there thinking, great, raw materials are going to be a really big factor, because of course we need lots of the raw materials from mining in order to be able to build wind turbines, photovoltaics,
solar,
vehicles, solar, etc. So where how is that rolled into the discussions? And actually what surprised me was that nobody mentions mining at all. In fact, the only mention of mining was to do with coal. And so therefore within COP26 had fairly negative connotations. So whilst we could see this as a negative thing, actually I see this as a massive opportunity for the mining sector to actually stand up and say, no, we're part of the solution here. Because not only does the world need all the raw materials that we extract from the ground, and we can do that in a very responsible manner, but also a lot of those raw materials come from more developing parts of the world. And so therefore we can be a mechanism through which all of those world leaders negotiating at COP26 can share some of the pledged money with regards to how does the world actually lean in and tackle all of those different aspects of climate change.
Yeah, and I mean, without mining, we will not have any climate change. That is also for sure, because no electrical car will be built, no hydrogen car, nothing else, no transportation, nothing different. And this is something what I sometimes really don't understand, why you can, when we see people demonstrating against mining is bad. And I said, okay, then you have to give back your iPhone, please. Because without mining, there is no iPhone. Yeah, so forget about it. And so the question is now, what is your company, your team providing? What are you doing to help, let's say, mining companies, for example, to get those ESG rulings done and maybe to provide them with good ideas?
Yes, so on that, in terms of going back to people who don't necessarily know where the raw materials come from, we spend a lot of time working with governments and different organisations to try and help improve that awareness, and so therefore make sure that practical and relevant aspects of raw materials are included in those changes in policy, but also for the investors as well, making sure that where those investors are trying to do their climate scenario analysis or their various reporting on different aspects of ESG, are they asking the questions that are meaningful to those mining companies? So that's taking all of the international expectations and trying to say, okay, there are now hundreds of standards and guidelines. Of all of that, what is actually relevant to the mining sector? And then more than that, actually to a specific exploration project, for example. So then from a mining perspective, so personally, I started out life as an exploration geologist. So I'm a geologist originally, and the majority of the Satarla team are engineers or they're environmental specialists or social specialists through to accountants and lawyers, etc., mostly from within the mining sector. So then we reverse it and we say, well, actually, what are the questions? What are the data sets that we want to give you to prove that we are actually operating in a responsible manner? And by bringing that together, that then means that the money, the policies, etc., are shaped so that they support those mining projects and operations that are trying to do the right thing or can do the right thing, rather than perhaps in the past, the weighting of that investment has gone towards where there's the most copper in the ground from the geological sense, not necessarily rolling in the ESG layer on top of that.
Okay.
So we deliver work with regards to the governments and the investors, but then actually the majority of our work is helping the mining companies themselves say, there's this wealth of expectation. What does that practically mean for us? Because we don't want to just tick boxes. We want to create real impact and action. So what does that mean? And how do we therefore optimize our operations or our exploration projects to be able to deliver on all of that?
Okay, so do I get that right? When a company comes to you and says, "Hey, we want to be serviced by you," do they then get like an ESG license from you? Not checking all the boxes, but that you are telling them, "Hey, guys, listen, you have to do this, 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 and this," right?
So we don't hand out certificates saying, "Woohoo! You now have your license to operate." So I think that would be incredibly dangerous. No, instead, it's all about, yes, we help organisations undertake the likes of the gap analysis, and we work with the likes of Digby, who I'm sure you've been speaking to.
Yes, I heard about that. That's interesting.
So, for example, in that we've helped Digby to put together their different frameworks that they use.
I see.
But we also work with technology partners such as Terabotics, who use satellite imagery to be able to monitor what's happening on site. So we use those remote sensing data sets. And then we also have a risk management software or ESG management software that helps you to say, okay, so we've identified all these gaps. What on earth are we going to do about them? And then when we need to report on those aspects, who needs what data sets? And that software is called ESGuide. So we've got a lot of different front-end products in terms of assessing the gaps. In terms of the real guts of what we do, this is where we come into the world of enterprise-wide risk management. So Satarla started out as an enterprise risk management company. And what that means is you pull together the different legal risks, be they threats or opportunities, financial, health and safety, technical, environment, social and governance, all of this together. And you say, okay, some of them are going to be opportunities, some of them are going to be threats. How do we balance all of these out? How do we identify the right controls that are going to help us actually manage these risks? And then let's get on and actually do it. So what happens in the middle of all of this is you have the ESG gap analysis at the front, then have the real fix, the real doing, all of which is balanced. And then you've got that help with the reporting. So how do you actually show the world that you really are doing the right thing?
Okay, super. So who are then your clients?
So that wide range. So we work with almost all of the major mining companies, and increasingly we're working with a wide variety of the junior mining companies as well as service providers as well. So because everybody needs to be thinking about their ESG. And beyond that, we work with lots of the investors. So actually helping them, be it in anything from due diligence through to their portfolio analysis with regards to especially their climate analysis at the moment, especially because that's what's being required by the regulator. regulators. But across Satarla, mining is only 50% of our work. The other 50% is in all kinds of other sectors, such as everything from agriculture and healthcare through to banking, insurance, governments, charities, etc., broadcasting, sport. And it's for those organizations that, yes, we bring the ESG aspects, but almost more than that, we're helping them to implement robust, meaningful, enterprise-wide risk management. So what that means is we can learn from other sectors and we can pull all of that into mining, which really helps.
Fantastic. Super. Well, Sarah, thank you very much. That was a great insight into your work. And yeah, keep fingers crossed, because the climate change is definitely there in some ways. And we need mining, and we need more ESG conform workings. That is also for sure. Merry Christmas. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Sarah Gordon, the CEO of Satarla Resources. And you heard it. This is not a mining company. This is really directly going into consulting, into ESG, into, addressing the climate change in the world with companies and for companies. And I think this is imminent and really important that we are doing that, because we have only that planet. And one thing is also for sure, without mining, there is no technology and nothing which would help us to do so. So check it out. Thanks for watching us. Mines and Money London with Commodity TV. Bye-bye from Switzerland.